All right, welcome to the call, Aurum family. Welcome to the call. All right, how's it going out there? Let us know where you're calling in from, and we'll get this call started in a few minutes. Welcome to the call, everyone. Who do we have today on the call? Here we go. Czech Republic in the house. Czech Republic, good morning from Canada. Italy, we've got Norway in the house. Another Canadian, Cyprus. Who else is on the call here? We've got Germany in the house. Welcome, Germany. Who else do we have? London. Welcome, London. And the UK. India in the house. Dubai. Welcome, Dubai. Welcome, Hong Kong. Welcome to the call. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. I am fired up. How are you doing out there today? Hey, I'll just let you know how I'm feeling right here. How's this? Can you see that? That's me. There we go. All right, welcome. Let's get started as we welcome more and more guests to the call. And, wherever you're calling in from, I just want to say a warm hello, a good morning, or maybe good afternoon, or maybe good evening, depending on where you're calling in from around the world. Welcome to all of our Aurum Foundation partners worldwide. And I am absolutely honored that you've joined us for this weekly Aurum Mastery Call. And our topic today is going to be the introduction, basically the pre-launch of the Aurum 90-day game plan. Yes, we're going to take a journey for the next 90 days. This is going to be fascinating and a transformative event over the next 90 days for many of you. Now, most of the mastery calls are recorded, and you can find them at the Aurum YouTube channel. And all you got to do is visit at Aurum_Foundation. That's at Aurum_Foundation. Now, if you're watching on YouTube and you didn't get onto the live call, let us know where you're calling in from in the comments below. And we'd like to hear from you. And don't forget to hit the like button if you're on YouTube and subscribe so you never miss out on a mastery episode. And send this episode to your network of partners all over the world. Again, this is the Mastery 90-day game plan. And we've actually, from this recording right now, and for those that are on live, it's going to go into a YouTube playlist because there's a series, and I'll be talking about that today. So for all of the brand new partners that are just joining the Mastery Call for the very, very first time, and in case we haven't met, my name is Shane Morand, and I am honored to be Aurum's Chief Network Development Officer. And I'm going to start today's call by really sharing the most important part here, and that is Aurum's powerful vision. And what is that vision? If you're new here, you want to memorize this vision. And the vision is to create 1,000 millionaires who are not millionaires today. That's 1,000 people who are using the platform and promoting the platform locally and globally to become millionaires who are not millionaires today. Now, already in the pre-launch, and we just officially launched, there's already several who have achieved the millionaire status. Fired up about that. I don't know about you, but I'm certainly fired up about that. And the mission really with Aurum is to identify the 1,000 volunteers who want to become Aurum's next millionaires by, again, using the AI finance platform and promoting it to customers and to partners locally and all over the world. So again, good morning and good afternoon and good evening. Welcome. Again, this is the Mastery 90-day game plan series, and this is the pre-launch because we're going to launch the 90-day game plan next week. So I want to take this episode to run through how this is going to work and how it's going to benefit you and your team and help you grow bigger, better, faster, and stronger. And I'm excited to be with you today because it's not just another training. All right. We're not just talking about this is really the introduction to a journey inside the Aurum ecosystem, and what we're looking for is a 90-day commitment to growth, to leadership, to duplication, and most importantly, to results. And I want to start off right now by thanking every single partner who is here today, who is watching today, your presence really matters. Your commitment to Aurum really matters, and your decision to show up each and every week really matters, because, in business, especially in the referral marketing arena, in the direct sales arena, the people who win are not always the smartest people in the room. They're not always the loudest people or even the most experienced people. They are the people who stay consistent, who stay focused, who stay connected to the right environment. And in other words, it goes to the people who really stay plugged in to what's happening in the worldwide global movement here that we're creating. And that's exactly what this 90-day series is all about. At Aurum Foundation, we're building more than just a team. It's more than just a global team. We're building a global AI finance ecosystem, and it is the more every single day, every week, every month, it's just getting bigger, better, and much stronger. And you're going to see that even as early as this week with some announcements that are coming out. Just amazing. So we're building a culture. That's what we're doing. We're building a system where partners just like you can benefit from the power of simple, actions, smart duplication, and AI finance working in the background that create daily opportunities. What I'm talking about is even on a passive level, you create daily ROI. All right. So this 90-day mastery series is going to begin when? Next week at the same time, same place. And really, we have one main purpose, and that's to help every single partner become more skilled. Every single partner become more confident in what you're doing, more effective in building your own network, both locally and eventually, for some of you, you're going to build globally, while understanding how the Aurum platform and the ecosystem can really help create value every single day, and can also help customers create a ROI, return on investment, daily. All right, not sometimes, what if, but every single day. Now, I'm not here to make anything complicated. That's not my role. I'm here to make it simple, to make it easy, to make it duplicatable. I'm here to create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. And that is the billion-dollar formula. All right, to create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time. Underline consistent, underline simple, and underline, duplicatable. It has to be duplicatable. So that's how momentum is built. That's the magic. That's the big secret. That's how teams grow. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. That's how leaders are developed, And so what I want to talk about is that over the next 12 weeks, starting when? Next week. Again, this is just the warm-up. I want to talk to you about what is about to happen here. We're going to build something very, very powerful together. And each week, we're going to focus on one important skill in referral marketing or in direct sales or in this type of marketing. One important skill. And each week, we're going to look at one practical action inside the Aurum platform and inside the ecosystem. Each week, we're going to connect to a success principle that's going to help you with your mindset as well. You can have the best product and the best compensation plan and the best, but if your mindset is not set in the right direction, it's going to be very, very difficult. That's why some people are so successful and some aren't. It's the mindset, all right? It's a big, big, big part, but we're going to share that with you. And also every week, we're going to give you one challenge to apply for the next 7 days, including today. I'm going to give you a challenge that you're going to apply, and very important, the word apply. If you have a notebook, if you have a pen, don't just sit there and listen and watch. Grab a pen and start writing some of this down. By apply, I mean, you could be in front of the best information on the planet, the easiest, the simple, the most duplicatable, something that you can do consistently. But if you don't jump in and if you don't apply what you're learning, it's as if you don't have the knowledge, right? So what I want you to do is when you hear a concept, they say, hey, That would work. That's interesting. I'd like to try that. Jump in as fast as you can and apply what we're talking about. And each week, we're going to have, again, one kind of a team, more of a team. You might be starting off alone right now, or maybe you've got a small team. And for some of you, and we know who you are, you've got very large organizations that are already building, but we want to create a team duplication assignment so that everybody can grow their individual teams. Again, bigger, better, faster, stronger. I really want to stress the point that what we're going to be embarking on is not a passive learning. All right. The ROI is passive. If you click on that button to activate your, XAI bot, that is 100% passive. But what I'm talking about here is not passive learning. All right. Again, we talk about passive ROI, yes, but not passive learning. This is active building. So when you hear the strategy, get activated and start using it. Start sharing it with your team, big or small, it doesn't matter. Maybe get a workout partner and start bouncing these ideas. What are you trying? How is it working? If you're producing success, tell everybody. If you try one of the strategies and it produces a result for you, tell your entire organization what you're doing that's causing that success. That's how we do it. So this isn't just about listening and forgetting. Don't fall into that trap. This is about learning, and it's about immediately applying and then repeating it over and over and then duplicating what is causing your success to as many people as you can within your network. All right. And that's why, I really want to encourage every single partner and their team, to have their teams listen to these live mastery sessions and, and to make starting next week, not right now, but starting next week, make a 90-day commitment. Do not miss an episode because they build one on top of the other, on top of the other. And at the end of this 90-day journey that we're going to take together, it will transform many of your businesses into something incredible. And that's how you create a movement. That's how it's done, right? So if you have a team somewhere in the world that joining live on these calls like you are right now, if it's not practical, then just make sure you forward the replay. These replays go up in a couple days. The live is live, but the replays go up on YouTube in a couple days. Normally it takes, but as soon as it goes live, and again, where is it? It's at YouTube, Aurum_Foundation, and look for the Mastery playlist, and we're going to put them in order. So all episodes will be in order. And so someone that registers maybe in a month from now, they can start on the same journey. And as we go through this call, as we go through some of the information, I want you to imagine that your entire organization is receiving this information. Do you think it's going to help? I hope so. And so here's where we go. Don't keep this journey that you're about to experience to yourself. If you're a customer, you can keep it to yourself, but you're not a customer on this call. This call is specifically for partners that want to grow a local and perhaps a global organization. And so if you want to build a strong culture, then you have to build what's called shared momentum. Again, whatever you're learning that starts causing some success for you, you tried this and it worked, share that momentum with your organization. Share it with your leaders. If you want your team to grow, then your team needs to hear the same message. It can't be, for this country, we're going to send this message, but for this language, we're going to change it and do this. That doesn't work, right? We want the same unified message going out, the same vision going out. The vision, for example, for people in Japan doesn't change because they're Japanese, or the people in Indonesia. It's not a separate vision, or in wherever, in Europe or in Africa. It's the same vision and same direction as well. So if you want duplication, this is what we're going to be talking about here. If you want duplication, then duplication can begin right here with a 90-day mastery series, the way we're going to lay it out here. So every week, again, this is a live session, same time, every Monday, depending on what time zone you're in. And that means, this is happening in real time. And the benefit of being on the call in real time is that you can create energy and you can start building momentum right away and moving forward as one team as we go throughout this 90-day process. So after the live call, again, we post the training. I just can't stress it enough because I know there are some people, for example, in New Zealand, it might be 3 o'clock in the morning for all I know, right? Or in Australia, it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning, or maybe the Philippines. I think it's midnight, and not everyone's going to stay up till midnight to watch the call. So they'll have to wait a couple days, get it on the YouTube channel playlist, so that, again, you and your partners can review it again and again and again. And you can start, once you review the training over and over, and you can start sharing it with your team. You have something to talk about on how to grow your organization bigger, better, faster, stronger. And you can use it also as a tool for duplication. And that's how we build a lasting culture. That's how it's done. And building a lasting culture is the most difficult, right? If you're building your network, you want to build a culture. But building the culture, because there's so many diverse personalities, and there's so many maybe diverse languages and even cultures, right? But to do this is really difficult. And if you want to have massive sustainable growth, you got to get this culture correct, and you'll build a massive global network. That's just the way it works. If you get it wrong, your network will collapse. That's what happens. If the culture isn't correct, the network will collapse. And because there's no synergy, there's no direction. I see this all of the time in different organizations where, this team is doing it this way and they're doing it over here this way and they do it this way, and everybody's confused, right? So the core principle for this pre-launch mastery 90-day game plan episode today that we're doing is I want to begin with a powerful principle, and it's from my favorite author. The all-time leading business book in history is a book called Think and Grow Rich. And what we're going to start off with is a theme. And the number one principle in thinking, if you haven't read the book, by the way, go get the book, all right? Or go to YouTube and download. It's all free, right? But it's the principle of having a definiteness of purpose. Have a definiteness of purpose. Write this down. It's the number one principle. And by the way, Think and Grow Rich is the all-time leading business book in terms of sales in history. Okay, in history. And it's the book that is, as a result of sharing the principles, has created more millionaires than any other business book in history, right? And so, but the definiteness of purpose is where success starts. And that's why we want to talk about definiteness of purpose right here and right now as we prepare to launch the 90-day game plan in 1 week from now. So definiteness of purpose, what does it mean? It means knowing exactly why you're here. Why are you here? Do you even know? It means knowing exactly what you want. What do you want from Aurum? What is it that you want? And some really have never been asked that question, right? It means deciding that your effort is not random, that your future, it's not accidental. So when people achieve success, a lot of people think that it's an accident, but success leaves clues. People who achieve success are doing things over and over and over. And if we're just intelligent enough to pay attention to what it is that they're doing, we can all produce the same results. So when a person, and that means you, when you have a definite purpose, everything changes. Listen carefully. When you have a definite purpose, everything changes. And for example, if your team has a definite purpose, their decisions become much clearer. Their energy becomes much stronger with a definite purpose. Their time becomes more valuable with a definite purpose. Their conversations become more intentional. They're not just talking to talk. They're intentional with their conversation. Their actions become much more focused. Okay? When a person has no definiteness of purpose, meaning they don't have a clue where they're going, we'll just see how it goes. Let's see. We'll try this and this strategy, and we'll see what. After all, it's only $20. $19.99 a year. What can we lose, right? That's what's going to happen without a definiteness of purpose, and you already see it. And you can name the people that this is happening. They have no definiteness of purpose, and they just drift. They get distracted. They get discouraged. They get discouraged so fast because they don't even know where they're going. How can you hit a target? How can you hit a target that you can't even see? It's impossible, that you don't even have, right? So definiteness of purpose is having that target very, very clear. If without it, they get pulled in all kinds of directions. And how many do you know right now they're being pulled in all kinds of different directions? They start and they stop and they move, but not always with any type of direction, okay? And not with certainty. So today on this episode, on this pre-launch episode, I want to challenge every single partner listening to this message, whether you're watching live or whether you're on the YouTube channel playlist, to answer these questions. Write it down. And if I go too fast, all you need to do is go to the YouTube channel, watch it again, write these questions down, and answer these questions. Number one most important question that I would ask is, why are you here? What are you doing here? Why is it that you're here? Why did you come, and why are you watching? Why are you a partner with Aurum? Start to get clear, and you don't need to answer me on that question. You need to answer yourself. You need to know why you're here, right? What are you building, right? Who are you building it for? Do you know? What kind of future do you want to create through the Aurum ecosystem? Are you clear on the future that you want to create for yourself and your family? These are not small questions. Maybe I went too fast. And to the translators that are translating simultaneously, I get fired up when I talk about this topic, because I know that it can transform just by answering these questions. It can transform the individual to start focusing, and they can move their business along bigger, better, faster, stronger than they ever thought possible. So these are not, again, they're not small questions. These are leadership questions, right? These are leadership. And that's what we're doing, is we're going to develop a massive army of leaders, but that are asking tough questions, not easy to answer. But if you do get the answers to these questions for you, right? And the stronger that your answers, the more certain of your answers that you are, the stronger your business will become. That's just the way it works, right? You show me someone with no definiteness of purpose, and I'll show you someone 20 years down the road, they're going to end up doing a big circle, back to square one, going around. They get knocked down. Like in life, people get knocked down. Everybody gets knocked down. That's not unique to any one person. Sometimes they get knocked down with their health or their relationships or their finances, but they get knocked down and they fall down, which is not a problem. Falling down. It's how fast can you get up? And when you do get up, are you just kind of spinning around and going in a new direction, or going backwards, or going this way? Or are you focused on your definiteness of purpose? Because when you get knocked down and you have a definiteness of purpose, you're going to get up and you're going to keep moving in the direction of your definiteness of purpose. But if you don't have a strong definiteness of purpose, people get knocked down, and what do? They get up and they don't even have a purpose or a definiteness of purpose. And so they turn and they start going in a different direction. They get knocked down. They go in a different direction again. They get knocked down. That's just how life works. And they go in a different direction, and years and years and years pass, and they realize they're right where they were, in a big giant circle where they started all those years ago. All right. Hope this is making sense. And you might be saying, how come they never taught this in school? They don't. I don't know, right? I just don't know why it's not taught in school. If it was up to me, I would be teaching every student first. The first principle is know what you want in life, know where you're going, at least an idea of where you're going. Make it personal. I want you to take a moment and take some time this week and really think about your reason for being with Aurum. I want you to really, really take the time to think about your reason. Maybe, let me give you some ideas. Maybe you're here because you want financial growth. Maybe you're here because you want to build a financial wall around your family that nothing can get through. That could be you. And maybe you're here because you want freedom. You want the freedom to wake up when you want to wake up, to go where you want to go, when you want to go, without any permission. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're here because you want to help your family. Maybe you're here because you want to send your children to a private school. Maybe you're here because you want to become a leader. You want to become a bigger, better, faster, stronger leader to provide leadership for your organization to make an impact in your local community and also globally. Maybe you're here because you want to create something even bigger than you. What a vision, right? Whatever it is, whatever your reason is, I'm just kind of giving you some ideas here, but whatever it is, make it definite. Make it definite, make it on purpose, and write it down. Take the time to grab a pen, like maybe even a notebook, get some paper and write down what it is that you want. Right now and again, just for a second, imagine so far what we're talking about. If your team, whether it's small or whether it's large, if your whole team started focusing on why they're here, what it is that they want out of this, does that feel like a team, getting stronger and stronger? Does that sound like a team that's about to fall apart? No, it's going to glue your entire organization when each individual member is on a mission and they know what they're working for. They know what they're building. Speak it out loud if you know what it is. Say it out loud. Own it. Take responsibility for this, because when your purpose, becomes clear, when it becomes crystal clear, your actions become stronger. When you take action, it's just stronger and stronger because you're clear of where you're going. And what really is important here is the people who build, for the long-term success. They're not the one who get excited for a day. They're not the ones who get excited for a week or even a month or even a year. The people that are strong in this way, they're the ones who decide every single day to keep moving forward, to keep moving forward, to keep moving forward. They have a much longer term vision. They have a much longer term mission to accomplish their definiteness of purpose. All right. So that's what we want to create in the 90-day journey. We want to really develop your long-term vision. And again, I cannot stress enough that you need to use your imagination just for a second. And imagine if every single one of your partners understood, if they just understood the importance of building their long-term vision. Would this help your network or would it help your network development? Right? And we're not talking about temporary motivation, right? That's like temporary motivation would be like saying, do I have to use soap like every day, right? That's temporary motivation. Yes, you have to be long-term motivated, real momentum, real discipline, real duplication, right? And Aurum, it matters because, when people understand, for example, when people start to understand, and this is all new to so many people around the world, but when they start to understand the AI finance ecosystem, this is the future, but it's not the future because it's here now. It's not like we're planning on building an ecosystem in the future. It's here now. And we've got tens and tens and tens of thousands of real customers and real partners now, not in the future. It's here now, but it's only going to get bigger, better, faster, and stronger. But what happens is that people start to begin to see that it's not only about personal progress, right? Yes, we want you to see your personal progress, but it's really about helping customers. It's about helping partners benefit from a system that's designed to create value every single day, right? This ecosystem called Aurum, the AI finance, it creates value every single day. And I love what HP says. He says and it's true. Listen to this, and you might want to write this down. It's worth remembering that 100%, not 99.9 or 95, 100% of every customer or every partner who has activated their XAI bot is earning an ROI every single day. Did you write that down? 100% of every customer or partner who has activated their XAI bot is earning an ROI every single day. That is just mind-boggling. When you think of the people, like most people that I know, they're kind of sick and tired, of having money sit in the bank that they've worked very, very hard for, that's doing absolutely nothing, not even a yield, nothing. except for the depreciation and the inflation that's just robbing them, right? And that's really what we're talking about here, is really the power of simple, consistent actions that's combined with. So we've got these simple things that we're putting together, but it's combined with a technology and something called AI finance. This is a magic combination of something that people are really interested if they only knew it was available. And the beautiful thing about Aurum that I love the most is that we're not going out there saying one day this is how it's going to work. No, 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 my friend. Right now, right here, it's already up and running. It's only going to get bigger, better, and stronger as we move forward. And as you'll see in the upcoming announcements that are just amazing. So every episode on this series, on the Mastery series, on the 90-day game plan series, starting next week, is going to follow a very, very simple pattern. Very simple, very easy. So no matter what your background, no matter what your education, no matter how old you are or how young you are, we're going to share with you, for example, one referral marketing skill, at least one new skill every week that you're going to be able to hone in on for the next week, and you can practice and apply. We're going to also give you one platform action that you can do to bring you closer and closer to mastering the entire platform. We're going to give you one success principle. Can you guess what the success principle was today? Definiteness of purpose. If you got that one wrong, I can't help you, right? The success principle is the success principle of definiteness of purpose. Do you have a definiteness of purpose? We're going to give you also one weekly challenge. We're going to challenge you for a week. For the next week, we're going to give you a challenge, and let's see what happens. And we'll judge by results, right? We're going to also give you a duplicatable assignment for you and your team. And again, some of you have small teams. Some of you are just getting started, but you're going to start developing a team. It doesn't matter, but we're going to give you an assignment so that you can share with your team. All right. So why are we doing this anyway? Why are we doing it even this way? What's the logic here? Why are we doing this? And will it work? Yes, it's going to work, because here's what it is, right? And again, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, if you can follow along, if I go too fast because I'm too excited here sharing this information because I know it's valuable, I know that it's going to have an impact on you and your organization, that you cannot put a price on this. But when you create simplicity, what happens is it creates action. You see, if we're giving you a simple, something very, very simple, and you go, that's simple enough, the chances of you doing it increase by tenfold. But if I start talking about and it could be complicated, and I start talking how complicated it is, and you got to take these 17 steps, and then you do this, and you do a backflip, and you spin around a couple times, and you're going like, oh my God, that's so complicated, I could never figure it out. But when it's simple, it's going to create action. You're going to be able to take action immediately. And when you create action, guess what happens? It's going to create a result. If you just create action, 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 it's going to start producing a result. And if something, again, is too complicated, people can't repeat it. They won't repeat it. It's too complicated, right? They feel, I can't do that. Do you see what I mean? That's why we're doing it this way. And if it's complicated, they're not going to be able to grow as fast and as strong. They still might have a definiteness of purpose, but if it's a complicated mission, if it's too complicated, they're not going to be able to grow as strong and fast as those who understand to keep it simple. The worst thing that you can do, the more knowledge you gain about the platform and the technicalities, is start sharing those really technical details with a brand new person, because they're going to say, you know what? You're so smart. You're going to probably do really well, but I don't understand a thing you said, and I'm out because I don't understand it, right? So you want to keep on remembering that as you're introducing, and we're going to go through all of this with you. If something's too heavy, people can't stay consistent. If it's too heavy, they can do it maybe for a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks, but if it's too heavy, they can't keep consistent, and we want consistency. It's part of the $1 billion formula. But if something's simple and something's clear and repeatable, and it's simple, and it's clear, and you could repeat it, and you can teach it immediately, then it can spread through your team, and you can achieve what's called traction, right? You start getting traction. Why? Because it's easy and simple, and everyone within your organization can start taking these baby steps that start moving your whole network forward, right? I hope I'm not the only one excited here about this. I hope that the pieces are starting to connect. It's like the pieces of a puzzle will come together, and all of a sudden you're going to have this moment where you go, I get it. Oh my God, this is huge, right? And I want you to be thinking about you. And I want you to be thinking about your team, no matter if it's big or small. There's many different people listening in here live. Again, some of you are just getting started. You're brand new. But think, does this make sense? And some of you have a very small team. And can you duplicate? Can you share this model? What would it be worth to have this model introduced to your organization, right? And some of you have very large organizations, and you kind of are having a hard time it's like herding cats, right? They're all moving sometimes in different directions, like, holy, how do we get them all together, right? And that's the culture that we want to start developing, is that we have something easy, simple, and we really want to be able to duplicate. And why is that? Because I've proven, okay, not maybe what if a dream, I think I have an idea, this might work. That's crazy, right? But I've proven that this model works. I've proven it. I've proven that it works in every country. I've proven it works in every language. And I've proven that every single culture around the world, this model will work. It'll work for me. It'll work for you. And I know many of you are listening to translators right now as they translate. You don't even speak English, but you're speaking another language. And for all of you who are speaking a different language, listening to this on the live call, it will work for you. And and you can feel it, even though it's not in your language, it's going to work for you. And so again, we want this whole process, this whole 90-game system to be really easy to understand. We want it to be really easy for you to come to an episode and make some notes, and you'll be able to teach it easily to the next person that you help get started. We want it to be easy to duplicate. Can you feel it? If it's easy to duplicate, what happens to your team? You don't have to be a scientific expert, to introduce someone to Aurum. You don't. And if you do go down that road, good luck with your building process, right? It just slows everything down, and we definitely want what we're talking about, what we're teaching, what we're sharing with you to be easy to apply. Well, what does that mean? Again, you could come here and learn and say, well, that was really good. Oh man, Shane, thank you so much for the training. But if you don't take that knowledge that we're sharing with you and apply it immediately, as soon as you can, if you get an idea, apply it right away. You see, we want it to be easy for you to take that application. And when you apply it, all of a sudden you're learning, and your knowledge goes to a whole new level, because now you're not guessing and hoping. You've applied it and you can see the results. And that's why Aurum Foundation is such a powerful environment, for training and for growth. It's just amazing. The team that has surrounded Aurum is just, it impresses me every single day. So what I want to do, right now is really talk about, again, leadership. Leadership is everything. If you're growing a network, whether it's locally or whether you're growing the network on a global scale, leadership is everything. You don't have to be a born leader. You could learn leadership. And really, leadership is just basically passing on any action that's producing a result for you, and it produced a result for you, sharing that result with a team member and saying, hey, I know that I do this and it's working. Why don't you try it? You see what I'm saying? That's leadership, when you start teaching and when you start leading the team. But I often liken, leadership to someone driving a school bus, right? You're the leader because you're driving the school bus of your team. That's how it works. But sometimes you've got your family members on the back, and sometimes you've got good friends, and sometimes you've got partners that you're leading in the back. And it's almost like I see a lot of people, they think they're leaders, and what they're going to do with the bus full of people, they're going to try something new. right? They're going to try something that I think this is going to work. And it's almost like driving that bus right off a cliff with your family and with people that you care about in the back. Do not do that, right? Take proven results, a proven system, a proven method of operation. And now when you're driving the bus, you keep your friends and family safe, right? And so again, we're talking about team and team culture. And let me say something very, very important here about leadership. Leadership is not just about what you know, okay? It's not about just about what you know. Leadership is about what you model, how you're conducting yourself, and what you're teaching your team to do. Again, if you keep it simple and it's effective, you're going to move your team along much, much faster than someone trying to complicate everything, because they learned a little bit more, a little bit of technical information, and they start sharing. It's like speaking a different language. The people that you're talking to, and even new, partners, they're not going to understand this language because you're a little bit more advanced. And so if you want your team to attend, for example, these mastery calls, you attend. If you want your team to learn more, you learn more, right? You're the leader. This makes me laugh. This is how simple this is, right? If you want your team to grow, you grow, right? If you want your team to apply the strategies that you're learning every single week here on Mastery, you apply the strategies, right? You apply the strategies. If you want your team to duplicate, you got to share the strategies that are worth duplicating, meaning not the strategies that you think are going to work. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the strategies that are bringing you any kind of success. You share those strategies with your team immediately, right? And the strategies that don't work for you, don't share it with your team, right? Don't say, it didn't work for me, but you try it. Don't do that, right? And this is why the Mastery series that we're about to launch in 1 week from now is a must. It's not a maybe or what if or perhaps. It's a must. It's got to become a part of your team culture. Bring your people every single week live if you can do it. Bring your leaders live if you can do it, right? Bring your brand new baby partners. I call them baby partners. If they're just getting started, bring them live on the live call if it's possible. If they're sleeping, it's 3:00 in the morning in their time zone, or midnight or after midnight, then you might want to get them to go to the replay. But bring your prospects even to the live call if possible. And anyway, you want to really, when you're thinking about this, you want to bring anyone who you think is serious about growth, who is sick and tired of being sick and tired and really wants to create something for their future. Bring them every single week. Get them in front of the information, because we're going to take you by the hand and we're going to show you step by step, right? And so again, what you're doing by developing your team, you're really creating a mastermind, right? So if the person wants to join your mastermind, they like your leadership, that's what you want to do. You want to encourage them to do that. And here's why, because, even this episode, if you're enjoying this episode and you're asking, oh my God, what would happen if my leaders, the people that I have in my organization and even my brand new partners had access to this information, right? And they can go and watch the replay, and they can watch it over and over and over and take notes, because repeated exposure, that's what creates belief. If you have repeated exposure over and over, all of a sudden they're going, they have this aha moment. And when someone has the belief, then they take action. And you know what happens when they take action? Creates results. It's just the formula. It doesn't change. And when they create a result, guess what that does? Is it creates momentum. It creates enthusiasm. I'll never forget Don Green. He's the director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I spoke to him all of the time, and there was never a time that Don Green didn't finish his conversation by saying something like, Shane, remember this, nothing great in life will ever happen without enthusiasm. Nothing great in life will ever. Are you enthusiastic about what we're doing here? Are you enthusiastic about the future of the Aurum Foundation, about the future of the neobanking, of the future of these AI bots that are institutional grade that we have access to? Are you enthusiastic about that? The last four letters of enthusiasm are IASM. You write this down. IASM. You know what it stands for? I am sold myself, right? I am sold myself. So that's just a clue. But he never got off the phone. I spoke to him many, many, many times, but he would keep reminding me, nothing great will ever happen in life without enthusiasm. So are you enthusiastic? When people see how the Aurum AI finance ecosystem works, and how the platform works, and I'm talking about new people, in the community that are just coming in. I talk about these baby partners. A baby partner just means someone who's just getting started on the platform and they're exploring. Maybe they start off with the XAI bot, but then they say, oh, there's a Visa product, and oh my God, look, we have an exchange, and now we got RWA with gold. And as they start discovering this, and how it works, the community, they discover the community. All of a sudden they get on a call and they say, this is kind of cool community. I want to hang around this community, right? And they discover the products, and they experience how everything fits together like a puzzle with Aurum, how everything fits together. They start to begin, this is what happens, and this is probably what happened to you. I know it's happened to me, but you begin to understand that this is a real opportunity, not only for customers, but also for partners, right? And this specific call is for partners. Customers don't need to be here. The customers can just enjoy their daily ROI and keep it secret. Go into the secret service. Don't tell anybody about it. Someone might have some success, and you don't want that as a customer. But anyway, every customer even has a partner link, so they can actually share it with someone. So, what I want you to do really is set your expectations for the next 90 days, starting next week. So next week at this time is going to be week 1. But what I want you to do is look out 90 days. That's 3 months, 12 weeks. Look out 90 days. I don't know if that's in there. 90 days. Look forward 90 days. And ask yourself, where do you want to be in terms of rank? How much money do you want to be making? How big is your team? How many people within your team have you helped rank up to the next level or to the next 2 levels, right? So start setting your expectations of what you want out of the next 90 days. This is how, again, your definiteness of purpose. You can have a definiteness of purpose for your life, but you can have a definiteness of purpose for what you want to accomplish in the next 90 days. Have a target for what you expect to accomplish, both personally and through your growing organization. Again, this is just the pre-launch. I'm just preparing you. I'm preparing your team for what we're going to start, to begin together for the next 90 days. All right. It's 12 weeks, and why is this important? Why is it important? It's important that not only do you show up, but show up ready. Come with your notebook, come to learn and come to apply what we're going to take you by the hand and show you step by step. But most importantly, show up with your team. Some people, I love this, they say, oh, I'm a leader. They tell me I'm a big leader. And look, if you look behind you and there's nobody there, you're not leading anything. You're just taking a walk. Right? So I like these people that tell me that they're a leader. That scares me, right? You don't have to tell me you're a leader. I can see by who's following you if you're a leader. All right? So remember, if you look behind you and there's no one there, you're not leading anything. You're just taking a walk, right? So who are you leading? Ask yourself that question. So over the next 90 days, starting next week, we're going to focus on building habits that really last, some easy, simple habits that last, and they start building on top and building on top. We're going to learn, I'll give you an idea, all right? You don't have to memorize all this because we're going to take it week by week to make sure that we build it up strong, like a muscle going to the gym for the first time. I'm not giving you a 500-pound weight to lift, all right? We're going to take it easy, but we're going to build. We're going to talk about things like how to invite better, how to follow up better, right? How to get customers and how to get partners. How do we get them started better? How can we teach them? How can we onboard them, faster? How can we present this beautiful opportunity faster and better and more professional and easier, to duplicate? How can we lead a larger organization? Does this make sense? Things like, how can we duplicate? How can we duplicate would you not like to duplicate yourself? It depends. Don't answer that question. If you're not having success, you don't want to duplicate anything. But if you're having success and you found your rhythm, you want that duplicated. But how can we do it better? How can we build the organization every day, every week, every month, more consistently, with more consistency? How can we do that, right? These are some of the topics that we're going to go over. Again, easy and simple things that you can apply immediately right after the call. You'll be able to apply these strategies to help move you forward, and you can practice it and apply it for the week. And now your muscle is getting stronger, and the next week we're going to build, and your muscles are getting stronger. By the end of the 90 days, some of you will not recognize your organization. You will not recognize how strong you become and how strong your organization is. So we're not looking here, by the way, we're not looking for perfection. That's crazy, right? I'm not looking. We're looking for progress. We're looking for progress, just like at a gym, right? You go to the gym. I'm not looking for someone to be a world-class no, but I'm looking for every week to get better and stronger and better and stronger, if that makes sense. So we're looking for that progress week after week after week after week for 90 days. And watch what happens at the end of the 90 days as we celebrate together, all of the successes that we're about to have together. So again, we're not looking for people who do everything at once. That's not what we're looking for. There's a lot of topics that we're going to go over, but we don't want to cram it all into you in 1 week. We're not going to do that, but we're going to build and build and build. So by the end of the 90 days, you're going to develop muscles in your, marketing and your leadership and your performance that you just won't even recognize. Where do those muscles come from? If you apply, right? If you just sit here and listen and say, well, that's exciting, and you don't apply, that's a different story, right? And so we want you to be consistent and consistent. Don't miss any part of the 90-day game plan. Don't miss any episode. And if you do miss, because of whatever reason, get to the YouTube channel and watch it. And there's nothing wrong with watching an episode over and over and over. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, because of duplication, because of you're just hearing it again and again. And all of a sudden, like I said, you could hear the same message 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 times. And on the 10th time, you go, oh, I get it. I understand what's going on. So remember, what we're talking about in the next 90 days is really a $1 billion formula. What is the $1 billion formula? I'll say it again. If you haven't already written it down, you want to remember this is the $1 billion formula that you can apply to your network right now. You can start thinking about how can I do this to apply a $1 billion formula to my own network. And here's what it is. We want to create a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time, over and over and over and over. That's what you're looking for. So if you have an idea that is easy and simple, you say, does that check? Is it are they easy and simple actions? Yes. Okay, check. Can they be duplicated by a large group of people? And if you say yes, okay, check. And can we do this over for a long time? Can we keep on doing this easy and simple action? And if you go yes, 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 go ahead and move with that, right? But if your idea and your strategy is to create something so complicated that it confuses people, just don't do that anymore. Don't do that, right? I hope this is making sense. I hope you're having fun, as much fun as I'm having here. All right, there's how much fun. I don't know if the light is shining in there. So that's exactly how massive networks are built. And I'm pretty sure if you're on this call, it's because you eventually want to build a massive network, not just a network, but you want it to grow. And what typically happens if you get this right, I want to give you a little bonus here. If you get this right, what's going to happen is that the network starts growing with or without you, right? It just starts growing and you can't stop it at that point. It just keeps on growing and growing and growing down levels and levels and levels. And that becomes a lot of fun. And that's when you're rewarded way more than anything that you can even imagine now. So that's how teams become massive, and that's how leaders develop, and that's how leaders emerge. We want that leader to be you, and because these sessions again are live every single week, you have the opportunity on the live call to learn what we're talking about in real time. You get to stay plugged in to the rhythm of the mastery series, and you get to, again, on top of that, you can also revisit the series or revisit the episode that really moved you by going to the YouTube channel and look for it on the playlist that we're going to set up a special playlist. By the way, our marketing team is absolutely world class. I am impressed. Ahmed Zen he is the chief marketing officer and also the co-founder. But man, I don't know if you're impressed, but I am absolutely impressed with what they're putting together. And so as we go through this, you really want to teach it forward. You want to take this information. If you've learned something today on this call, teach it forward. Make sure you get it to your leaders as fast as you can, to your network, to your team. Continue to onboard new partners, new customers every single day. And just imagine again what you've learned about the journey that we're about to take, and it hasn't started yet, right? But we're going to take this journey together over the next 90 days. Just imagine if your new partners that you're about to onboard, maybe in a week from now, they don't even know what Aurum is, right? But you onboard in a week or a month from now, or maybe even a year from now, had instant access to this information right from the beginning. They had instant access to how to set up for their network to grow bigger, better, faster, stronger, to begin their journey. Seriously, think about it. What would it be worth? What value would you put on this for you, and what value would you put on this for your team? So again, is the Mastery series a good investment of your time? Do you think it's going to be a good investment of your time? Do you think it's going to be a good investment of your team's time to learn a few simple actions that they can take that can be duplicated by a large group of people over a consistent period of time, and they learn right out of the gate? This is awesome. So any partner in Aurum who is serious about building a large local or eventually global enterprise, you're in the right place. You're in the right company. It's awesome, regardless, again, of their experience or lack of experience. We've got people now joining Aurum that they didn't even know what crypto was. And they are so fired up about the future because they can see it. They can see what's happening, right? And so I'm excited about this. Here's your first assignment. Grab a pen. As we prepare for the launch next week, write this down. Number one assignment is that you got the week to figure it out, but come to next week's mastery call with your definiteness of purpose. At least for the next 90 days. What is your definiteness of purpose? Decide exactly why you're committing to this 90-day journey. And that starts again next Monday. Decide where you want to be in terms of your rank, and your income for the next 90 days. Invite your team, review the pre-launch replay on YouTube before the next episode. And we're going to start with next week is going to be called week 1. We're doing 12 weeks. Next week is week 1. Fasten your seatbelt. And who can do this? What I'm talking about, who could do this, no matter what their background is? So ask each partner to bring at least a guest, bring at least a partner, bring their team. Commit to showing up with focus, with consistency every single week, and review this episode again over and over if you want, if it's helped you, and share it. And I want you to do more than just attend. I really want you to do more. I hope you get this, is I want you to engage and I want you to take notes for you, take notes for you and for your team, because you could review this information with your team as you're growing your network. But most importantly, I want you to apply the lesson that you're learning. I want you to apply it in your life. I want you to help your team do the same thing. So if you apply, you can instantly teach. But if you're just here listening and saying, wow, that was really good, and you don't apply, you're not going to be able to teach anybody anything, right? And we want you to be the teacher, the mentor, the leader that you're going to need to become if you want to grow a massive organization. All right. This is for transformation. We want to take an individual from where they are right now. We're trying to, and this is the goal. We want to create 1,000 new millionaires. If you're not a millionaire, then you don't have the formula to become a millionaire because you're not a millionaire. If you had the formula, you would be a millionaire. Build excitement, build enthusiasm for next week's launch of Aurum's Mastery Call. All right. Now, let me tell you, in wrapping up here, let me tell you, week 1 starts next week, and it's the introduction. This is just the introduction. In week 1, we're going to begin the real practical work. We're going to start with one of the most important skills in referral marketing, one of the most important skills that you could learn. We're going to start with week number 1. And if you understand this one skill, okay, your entire way of building can begin to expand like you can't even imagine. That's just week 1. And so when you come back next week, come back ready, bring your team, bring your notebook, bring your focus, bring your energy, but most importantly, bring your enthusiasm. Nothing great in life will ever happen without enthusiasm. Bring it next week, your enthusiasm. And most importantly, bring your commitment. Because next episode is about building the foundation that every successful partner must master. It's a must. It's not maybe what if, it's a must. And we're starting off with a bang on week 1. And once we build that foundation, the rest of the series becomes even more and more powerful. All right. So as we conclude this introduction to Aurum's Mastery 90-day game plan, I want to leave you with this thought, right? You're not going to build something great by accident. Okay. If you think because of Aurum is here and it's the trend of the future, but because you're here, you're going to build something great. It's not the way it's going to work. It's not going to just because it's an accident, right? That's not how it works. You're going to build by making a decision. Once you make a decision that you're going to start following, you start understanding what is your definiteness of purpose, and you make that decision that you're going to come up. If you don't have a definiteness of purpose for the next 90 days, make a decision that you're going to come up with that, whatever it is. You're going to build it by being consistent, by doing the small things over and over and over. You're going to build on purpose. Imagine someone says, "Isn't that lucky?" No. I'm building on purpose. I'm doing something on purpose. I'm doing it over and over and over because it works by repetition, and you're going to build it by doing really the simple things. You remember the philosophy. If it's complicated, it's not going to duplicate, but you're going to do some simple things, but you're going to do them over and over and over, and you're going to do them long enough for the momentum to start to work in your favor. All right. So this is your time. This is your time. I cannot be more excited for the people that already know about Aurum than right here and right now. This is your series. Take 100% ownership right now. This is your 90-day journey. Make it count. Don't be a spectator in the game of life. Stop being a spectator in the game of life and cheering for everyone. I want you to invite you really to become, the player. I want you to be the player on the field who gets paid, just like a professional. And that's where we're heading to over the next 90 days. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment, and welcome to Aurum's Mastery 90-day game plan. We will see you right here next week, same time. Thank you so much. Now let's go.